Hello everyone. As I continue this video series on organized stalking, what I'd like to do today is discuss the component of this situation that is the FBI. And I'd like to go through a number of events, communications that I've had concerning just that. So to begin, how do I know that the FBI is involved? Well, in May of 2014, with this surveillance equipment running, I'm constantly hearing the chatter on the other side. I can converse with them, those on the other side of this equipment, and I was trying to gather whatever evidence I could, as I continued to do. And I heard some people come on the scene on the other side, and one man responded to those on the other side, stating that he was FBI. And then I heard people wanting that not to be heard. I heard that it sounded as though they wanted to cover that information up. But I hung on to that, thinking that it's possible that they're involved, and it's possible an investigation is ongoing, and that could only be in my favor. As time went on, in August of 2014, through the surveillance equipment, I dialogued with a man and his partner, and one of them, the name Jeff Carmichael, came up, and that they were from New Haven. And again, it was something that I could not verify, so I just let that go, made note of it. In October of 2014, I was told via a telephone conversation with the East Lyme Police, Sergeant Masick indicated that the FBI is involved in this case. The police knew about this stalking situation, and that the FBI is involved. And I was very pleased at that point, because I was still assembling evidence, hoping that at some point I could bring this to the police and get them to act to stop this crime. So now I knew that the FBI was involved. I was thrilled. I no longer had to convince the police. And this crime rose to such high levels that the federal government was investigating. So pleased I was. At that point in time, again, this is very uncomfortable to experience. This is more than a surveillance signal on me. This equipment is capable of producing a whole host of effects, painful and uncomfortable effects to the central nervous system. So, in late summer of last year and the fall of last year, I wanted this to stop, as much as I do now. So I tried calling the FBI in New Haven, and I started to speak with someone. You get past the switchboard. They gave me to someone to speak with, and about 30 seconds into it, I realized no one was responding, and then I realized I had been disconnected. Believing it was an error or a technical issue, I called back. Then I was given someone to talk to, and I told him my story. I said I'd like to get back with the person that I was speaking with. And he asked what was the name of the agent. I said, well, I don't know. He said, well, if you don't give me the name of the agent, I can't help you. I said, you can't cross-reference or look it up somehow. I was just speaking with him. And he said, no, if you don't know the name of the agent, I can't help you. So ultimately, I hung up. What I believed was they don't want to talk to me. First, I was disconnected. Second, time I could not get past the front door. So I believe they don't want to talk to me. Again, that still made me hopeful, because if they don't want to talk to me, it must mean that they're involved. At least they know who I am. And of course, they are involved because the police told me that they are. In December of 2014, while I was at the Eastline Police Department speaking with Sergeant San Juan about this and demanding that they stop it, the FBI called and they wanted to talk to me. And so I told Sergeant San Juan, put them on speakerphone, and he did. And I conversed with Agent Del Tartar, who was located at 2 Union Plaza in New London. And he was a bit of a wise guy, but the gist of the conversation was that this could not stop. It had to go on. And I could get nowhere with him. When we hung up, Sergeant San Juan said, "What do you want me to do? I don't know what to do." You see, they indicated, the Eastline Police indicated that the FBI was restraining them from enforcing the law. And so they were in that position of being restrained. I told Sergeant San Juan that you are responsible for law enforcement and for my protection in this town, and I want you to stop this crime. I want you to stop the crime. I said, if the FBI wants to investigate something, fine, but I want the crime to stop around my home. He said, okay. I shook his hand. I left. Nothing happened. The crime continued. Later in December, I heard through this surveillance equipment again that the FBI told the state Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services to bury me. And this was after I had been evaluated a second time. And I will do a second video or another video on this, on just that topic. I'll bury him and how that came about. But I heard it through their surveillance equipment. And lo and behold, when the evaluation results came out, it was just that. And when I went to court, just that happened. I got buried. And I spent 110 days in captivity because of it. So I heard it through the surveillance equipment, and I was made a believer in actuality. Other times in 2014, I've been hung up on by the FBI in New Haven. One time, the person said, "How do you know this is happening?" And I said, "Well, I have my own electronic equipment that I'm monitoring theirs on." And he said, "Your own equipment?" "Yeah, right." And he slammed the phone down. That's not the professional behavior I would expect of the FBI. Another time, someone down there by the name of Zachary told me that the FBI can't help you, and he just kept repeating that loud. And I said, "What is your name?" And he said, "Zachary." I said, "And your last name?" He said, "I'm not going to tell you." Again, that's not the professional behavior I would expect from the FBI. In addition to that, I've been disconnected other times when talking to New Haven. One time I called and I put in a complaint. and the woman that I talked to indeed took my complaint, it sounded like she got interrupted while she was doing so, and she seemed a little embarrassed when she came back to the phone. And I was very sensitive to being hung up on by the FBI, so I was a little firm, but she assured me she was not going to hang up on me, and she took the information, but I've never heard anything from them. I tried calling Washington, D.C. in 2014, the main headquarters of the FBI, and I said, "Hello, my name is Jeffrey Medora, and I live in East Lyme, Connecticut," and they immediately hung up. So I thought, well, they must recognize who I am. This is kind of a common response from FBI. So I let it go at that. Yesterday, I tried calling the FBI in New Haven. No, I'm sorry, not New Haven. The FBI in Washington, D.C. one more time, and I was on hold for about 18 minutes, I'd say, and I decided to hang up. Back in June of this year, I called New Haven because I wanted this to stop. And I was told that there was an ongoing investigation, and they could not discuss it with me, but they would know I called. And so it was obvious they knew, they recognized my name. They did not have to ask twice. They recognized my name, and I pushed them a little harder, and they said, "We can't discuss an ongoing investigation with you, sir, but we'll know you called." And that's all that they would say. So I don't really know where the FBI stands. It does not seem that they're my friend. And while I hear of investigation, I'm told there's an ongoing investigation, but while it happens, myself and those around me are placed at risk continually, and more than just risk, but pain and torment continually, sleep deprivation, bouts of strong pain, tremor, anxiety, depression, all kinds of effects that are caused by their equipment. And my day consists of trying to manage them by disrupting their equipment with electronic equipment of my own that I've been researching, trying to disrupt theirs. It's almost as if it's a big game. I make a move and they make a move. I disrupt them and they work around it. And while it goes on, I get painful effects from their equipment, and I'm put at risk. And those that are around me are also put at risk. Now, it's one thing for me to be put at risk and to be put in pain with all of these effects. I know what's causing it. I know I have an enemy out there. I've proven it. But if you have an unsuspecting person around me who is given depression, anxiety, all kinds of effects, they have no idea where it's coming from. And I can't tell them. Because if I try to describe it to that person, this gang turns on other effects of that equipment. And it's very, very powerful. It can affect the mind in many ways. It can place thoughts in the mind in its subliminal mode. It places thoughts in the mind, and it feels like those thoughts came from your own mind. And you have to know and try to discriminate between those thoughts and know what is in alignment with one's value system. Well, see, unsuspecting people don't know that. So they're feeling pain, depression, anxiety, etc. I can't tell them, You just need to roll with this. This will pass. It's not you. There's nothing wrong with you. This is being done to you and me. It's a war going on. And the federal government's involved, and they may not be my friend. How do I tell them that? And then immediately, the people on the other end of this will seek to discredit me in this person's eyes, in the victim's eyes, and there's nothing I can do to help them. They can cause all kinds of behaviors. It's really disturbing to see people around me get hurt. Innocent people. It seems like more than an investigation. I question whether the FBI is just promoting all of this to continue for some reason. It seemed like last year they wanted to cover up Soundless and what they are doing. They wanted to discredit me any way that they could. They wanted to disconnect me from Soundless and have my criminal case quite possibly be resolved around maybe police wrongdoing. At the same time, discredit me, so anything I say that I've heard through their surveillance equipment won't be believed. It seems like that's what they were up to last year, and they got nowhere. They just exposed themselves for wanting to do that, and exposed the things that maybe they wanted to cover up. I don't know. While it goes on, I'm harassed, I'm put at risk. The people that I come in contact with can be and are harassed and are put at risk. I have no privacy. My privacy is invaded everywhere I go, including in the courtroom. So cases that are ongoing are put at risk. And this has happened both in New London and Milford. It seems like terrorism more than it does an investigation. So what I would like to know is, where does the FBI stand? Where do the Eastline Police stand? Because the Eastline Police must stop this for me. I have demanded by registered letter to the First Selectman, who is the Chief of Police, that he stop this here. There's no reason this has to continue. I'm somehow made to believe that it's necessary to do this to me for some ongoing investigation. I keep hearing that we have to catch all the people that were doing this to you. They don't need me. I do not need this to be done to me. It's not necessary for an investigation. They can easily synthesize anyone's voice that they want to. They can synthesize images that they can send. They do not need me at all. It's ridiculous to try to make me think otherwise. And the Eastline Police are responsible for criminal activity in their jurisdiction where I reside. And they have fallen down on the job. I'd also like to know where the state stands on this. It is indeed the criminal justice system that has been manipulated. And I have made that claim to the state. And prior to this, it seemed like Soundless and Electric Boat people were doing it. And now the FBI is involved. And the manipulation continues. So where does the FBI stand? Where does the state stand? It is my hope that the state is looking critically upon the FBI. In all of this, where I stand is I want the right thing done. I want this crime to stop. There's no need for it. There is no investigation results that can be used when surveillance equipment is used to find them. we're talking about violating people in a way that I do not believe the courts would allow for any purpose. I do not believe lawful evidence can come out of any investigation using surveillance equipment that penetrates deeply into someone's subconscious and takes information out. I do think evidence could be destroyed if it were found in that manner, and that's something worth considering. But all in all, this crime needs to stop. Any investigation needs to be done without this equipment turned on, and done the old-fashioned way. My question to everyone involved is, when will the law be enforced? Thank you.